In the trembling hush of a forest afternoon, when the canopy glows like stained glass and the air tastes faintly of sap and sun-warmed bark, a sliver of movement breaks the stillness, small, deliberate, and impossibly graceful. It begins with a single worker perched on the edge of a narrow branch, her body held taut as though she were balancing on the hem of the sky itself. Slender legs, long and delicate like threads of polished bronze, tremble for a heartbeat, and then, like a dancer lifting into the first breath of a performance, she rises, tilting her abdomen high above her thorax in an acrobatic pose that has given her species its name. This is the acrobat ant, chromatogaster, the tightrope walkers of the forest, creatures whose entire existence is stitched between wood and wind, always a few missteps away from the plunge of gravity. Her body gleams dark and glossy, shaped like a teardrop sharpened to elegance, and the peculiar heart-shaped gaster, lifted defiantly above her head, glints like a small, shadowed jewel. This strange posture is not vanity but weaponry. Within that raised abdomen lies a chemical arsenal, a venomous cocktail ready to spit defiance at any predator foolish enough to test her composure. Yet she moves not with the twitchy urgency of fear, but with a quiet, tensile confidence, as though the branch beneath her paws were merely a suggestion, not a reality she must obey. Around her, the colony stirs. Acrobat ants are tree dwellers by instinct and inheritance, carving their dominion inside hollow twigs, rotting limbs, abandoned beetle galleries. Their nests are fragile sanctuaries, shaped by the vulnerability and brilliance of creatures no larger than a grain of rice, yet capable of orchestrating worlds of strategy and order. Inside those narrow chambers, queens lay eggs in soft crescendos. Workers groom larvae with tender precision, and guards stand poised, antennae vibrating like tuning forks, catching the faintest whispers of threat. The worker descends the branch in a fluid arc. She doesn't hurry. She doesn't need to. For acrobat ants communicate through pheromones that weave invisible roads across the bark, highways of scent carrying messages of hunger, danger, opportunity. She senses a fragment of sweetness drifting on the air, honeydew from aphids clustered on a leaf's underside. She follows it like a dreamer tracing a memory, and soon she finds them, tiny sap drinkers, plump and slow, offering droplets of sugar-rich nectar in exchange for protection. Acrobat ants, guardians by evolution's decree, herd these aphids like livestock, shielding them from predators and guiding their movements across the plant. It is a symbiosis spun from necessity, a silent pact in which both species survive by surrendering to each other's needs. As she feeds, a tremor ripples through the branch, tiny but unmistakable. Something approaches. A spider, lithe and patient, emerges from the shadowed underside of a leaf, its eyes gleaming like beads of glass. The ant freezes for only a fraction of a second, then arches her body, lifting that dark, heart-shaped gaster into a stark silhouette. Her venom sac tightens, her limbs spread in a stance both elegant and defiant. The spider hesitates. Even hunters understand when their meal is not worth the consequence. The standoff ends not with violence, but with a decision, caution claiming the spider's instincts as it retreats into its private kingdom of silk. Victory, for the ant, is rarely loud. She returns to the colony with droplets of honeydew shimmering on her mandibles. The nest entrance yawns, a slit so narrow a human eye might miss it entirely, and she disappears inside, slipping into the living pulse of the colony. Here, the temperature is carefully regulated by the endless motion of bodies. The air hums with the chemical poetry of communication. An ant's life is short, fragile, but together they create continuity that stretches beyond the memory of any individual. Deeper in the nest, sealed in a chamber softened by the warmth of 100 beating bodies, the queen rests, larger, slower, a living engine of creation. She is tended constantly by workers who groom her, feed her, and carry her eggs away with reverence. Her pheromones are the colony's doctrine, shaping loyalty, suppressing rebellion, binding these thousands of workers into a single, shimmering mind. Every acrobat ant in this world exists because she does. Outside, dusk approaches. And dusk is when the forest shifts, shadows harden, scents sharpen. The breeze lowers into a deeper, more ancient register. A disturbance in a nearby tree sends vibrations through the network of branches. A woodpecker, drumming for insects hidden inside bark. Its rhythmic strikes echo like distant thunder along the limbs. To tiny creatures, each vibration is a story, a warning, a prophecy. Workers rush to the nest entrance. Some raise their gasters high, others secrete defensive chemicals into the air, a sharp, citrus-like tang that warns predators. Not here, not today. But acrobat ants are not simply fighters, they are architects of war. When danger threatens their vulnerable twig nests, they employ a maneuver so strange and strategic, it seems almost theatrical. They link their bodies together, forming writhing chains or living barricades across the nest entrance. To watch them is to witness discipline translated into motion. Each ant becomes a part of something larger, an organism made of organisms, a fortress sculpted from unity. Night falls fully now, the sky ink dark, the forest alive with the glow of phosphorescent fungi and the quiet chorus of nocturnal breath. A column of acrobat ants emerges into this darkness, silent silhouettes threading along a vine. They move with purpose, for tonight is a night of expansion. The colony has outgrown its current chambers. A new nest site has been found, a hollow branch further along the canopy. Workers scout it first, exploring every crevice, tasting the inner wood with sensitive antennae. They must judge its humidity, its temperature, the thickness of its walls, the size of its entry points. Only when the scouts agree that this place can cradle the next generation do they begin the migration. They carry brood in their mandibles, soft larvae curled like pale question marks, pupae sealed in amber-like cocoons. The queen is escorted last, surrounded by workers who cling to her like jeweled guardians. It is a procession carved from instinct and devotion. And overhead, the stars burn quietly, indifferent yet witnessing. On the journey, an unexpected challenge flickers into existence. A rival ant species, larger and more aggressive, patrolling the branches nearby. Territorial lines in the canopy are not drawn on maps. They are etched in pheromone trails, enforced by jaws and venom. The acrobat ants pause. They cannot turn back. The brood is exposed. So they employ their greatest adaptation, their agility, their daring, their almost unbelievable balance. One by one, they step off the branch and descend along a hair-thin strand of lichen. The rival colony cannot follow, too heavy, too clumsy for such a fragile tightrope. The acrobat ants continue, fearless, swaying in the dim breeze like beads on an invisible necklace, their silhouettes trembling but unwavering. Life for them is not measured by the solidity of the ground beneath their feet, but by their willingness to trust in the spaces between. Finally, they reach the new hollow. Workers pour inside, arranging the brood, grooming the walls, sealing openings with plant fibers and their own hardened secretions. The queen enters last, her arrival transforming the hollow branch into a new sovereign chamber. In the hours that follow, the colony settles. The forest grows quiet again, except for the faint rustle of leaves and the soft drip of dew gathering on bark. The acrobat ants resume their endless rhythm, foraging, guarding, tending, repairing. Their world is small, delicate, invisible to most. And yet, beneath the hush of the canopy, they shape ecosystems, moving seeds, pruning plants, herding sap drinkers, defending trees from herbivores. Their lives ripple outward in ways that echo long after each tiny body has returned to the soil. Somewhere along a branch, a lone worker once again lifts her gaster skyward, poised in that strange, defiant stance that defines her species. It is both warning and dance, both vulnerability and power. In that silhouette raised against the dim shimmer of moonlight through leaves, the entire legacy of the acrobat ant glows for an instant. Fragile, fierce, beautifully balanced. And in that fleeting moment, the forest seems to hold its breath, honoring the quiet acrobat who walks the edge of gravity, shaping the world one careful step at a time.